Laptop's on mute.
Stream.
We are streaming, finally.
Okay.
You know what? This is off a little bit. Let's do that.
Video. I'm looking for. Here we go. Share it.
Share it.
Got to bring my blood pressure back down.
Share it.
Beep, beep.
Let's
beep,
share that
beep,
video.
beep.
That beautiful bean footage.
I keep thinking of Sheriff Buford T. Justice. Beep, 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 beep. Home. Home. Trying to bring his blood pressure down.
Share with a comment. We have people watching. Hooray! I'm just going to put thanks for watching. We're a little delayed. We had some technical issues on this end. We couldn't hear Craig's audio, so we did a reboot, and then we couldn't see my video. So it's just all kinds of spectacular technical chicken wire and duct tape. It's funny because Craig and I do a webinar once a month, and we started doing video on that one now, too. And it's just as duct tape put together in the corporate world as it is at home. It's like, we can't get your audio over there. If we do that, then their video won't switch. And it's like, yep, this sounds just like our house.
Well, in all fairness, we do have people handling that for us, so it's not that duct tape-ish, but it is. We have the same discussions though.
I have Donna handling this for us.
Yes, you're right.
All right, let me boost your audio.
If you left her alone, I'm sure she could have fixed it with no problem.
No, she was very helpful in saying, is this muted? Is that down? Should this be up? Is this connected? Because there are some things that look suspicious with an 1/8-inch jack leading up right to, an 1/8-inch jack male coming out of the mixer that is connected to nothing. And then I temporarily disconnected my headphones. So there's a 1/8-inch female jack. She goes, should this be plugged together? Like, no, that's where my headphones go, and that plugs into nothing.
Yeah, plugs it in nothing.
I do. I have a few things around here that are just like when I'm doing my broadcast for work, it's configured a little different. So I have cables lying around. So it's
true.
Put a microphone in there or plug that into this. Or when Keith comes over, I just stretch him an 1/8-inch cable. There's one here that I've got a pair of channels that are dedicated for his soundboard. So, anywho, welcome to Technorama. We're going to get started with the podcast real soon. I think we're ready. Check, check, check. Level, level.
Level.
And if you haven't been listening to the Dog Days of Podcasting, we invite you to go over to dogdaysofpodcasting.com, where a group of us podcasters are taking up Craig's challenge for, what is this, like the 7th year?
Yes.
8th year? I think we started in 2012. 12,
we did.
13, 14,
the first year.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is year 8 for the Dog Days Challenge.
And we have 16 participants. One is new, and I couldn't really add him on Facebook or anything.
And
I did email him and ask him if he would, wanted to join in.
And what do we have, like 120 podcasts successfully created now?
Let's see. I'll tell you.
There's a stiff competition for Jay Langagen's Mad Movie Mayhem Challenge. He's doing movie quotes.
147 podcasts created.
We need to be done recording by the time he releases because it's stiff competition, and I want to be at least in that first 3 again.
Hey, and by the way, I was off with the wife this weekend.
Yes.
And I had scheduled a few to auto post, and they didn't. so I'm going to make one. So tomorrow, I'm going to make one big one.
I was
I'm just
wondering where yours were going.
That was it. I was like, okay, I pre-populated 3, thinking I would record one tonight after we were done, and then they didn't auto. I auto posted them, but they didn't post. I don't know if my cron job didn't work or something. So I'm just gonna edit them together and just put out one big one, and instead of I'll release all 3. I don't know.
Almost 30 years of combined podcast experience between us, and we still can't get it right.
It wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
All right. Hey, hello, Craig Glasner and Michael King and everybody else who's watching. Thank you for joining us. I wonder what happens if, is this 5 viewers up here a clickable link? No. So you can't even see who your 5 viewers are that way. Hi, Scott Tyler.
Let me pull up the chat so we can at least see or hopefully I can see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll get a fair picture. Let's see. Oh, here's some viewers over here. We have Scott Tyler, Mark Truble, John Miller Jr.,
swear, Facebook, you do this.
Two
all
other
the time.
people
Mute.
watching now. Craig Glasner. And we have a cat with an oven mitt in its mouth right outside the door.
Sounds like my house. Hey, I do have something. Let's talk about it before we start streaming real quick. So we do the show. So I was watching. You ever seen that show, How It's Made, and the guys talking about the process and they make stuff.
My favorite is bowling balls because what's in the center of a bowling ball is not even circular.
Yeah,
it's kind of homunculus.
Anyway, so I was watching one, and they were talking about making these solar panels, these flexible panels that you can make, that you buy. They're small, they fit in a backpack or something. You can, the military or somebody, they'll unfurl them, charge something, and then they can put them back.
Yes.
And so they're showing the process. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I'm sorry, I saw that. I apologize. That's one of them. And then the next one was a bicycle light that goes on the helmet and the handlebar.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they were talking about the different process. Then a technician takes a soldering board and puts it on, and it goes over these pins, and they clip the pins and they solder on top of the pins.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, so they put it on there, clip, and then she comes in with a soldering gun and just goes across all over. And went, what the heck? That's the worst soldering job I've ever seen.
I like how it's always a technician.
Yeah.
A technician does this, and then it goes to a technician, and they do that.
But I was watching that going, I mean, even Kim was listening to me. That's the worst soldering job I've ever seen. It went across all the pins. There's no way that's supposed to.
They just glue it on. That was just for
like
the demo. Craig,
it was like
come on. You've done video production. You've done video production, and you know what you see on video is not real life.
Hey, I know, but it looked like somebody just gave them French fries and they squirted ketchup all over it. That's what... But I know they couldn't. They could at least showed them working on one point and moved on. But yeah, it was like
maybe it was the stunt double. Ah, man, Clara's not here today. Who do we got?
We're obviously not using that one.
Jenny. What? I'm the makeup technician. You're now a soldering technician. Sit down and look like you're soldering.
A couple of them, they kept going, and the technician, she will do this, she will do that, and every time they showed somebody, it was a dude. I was like, as a guy sitting there, I'm like, well, where is she? A technician.
Let's do a quick audio check on this one.
On this auspicious occasion, let the horn of eternity cut a thunderous blast.
I love that. Oh, by the way, there's a voicemail in there.
We have a voicemail. Where?
It's in the voicemail folder.
All right, let me find it. Images. We need to go to...
On this auspicious occasion.
Episodes. Voicemails. Voicemail. Can I play it now? Who's it from?
This is the business office of DJO Global, a leading provider of orthopedic bracing and...
Okay, thank you. We have a voicemail.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know the voicemail line still works.
Yeah.
So, let us begin. John Miller Jr. says, Frank Welker, which shouldn't be confused with Fran Wanker.
Yes, let's don't do that.
All right.
Oh, let's get going.
Let's get going. Okay, in 5, 4, 3. Technorama episode 573. Homerun. Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Welcome. We are on episode 573, so you got a little catching up to do. If you're returning, welcome.
We're halfway there. We're halfway there.
Well, at least halfway. Maybe halfway there. We're halfway over the hill. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for giving us your time one more time. I'm Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me as always is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I am a little sunburnt.
A little sunburnt? Oh, yeah, you are a little pig. I should have Donna turn up the red filter on my camera. I can look sunburned with you.
I think I sprayed one side of me, but I think I forgot the other side.
You went to Myrtle Beach?
Went to Myrtle Beach, floated around in a lazy river thing, and of course my chest and everything was facing the sun, and I think I forgot to spray the front.
Oops.
So a little burn. That's all right. Hey, I've had worse burns, so I can deal with it.
All right, we have some feedback. We need to do this. Yes. Let's do this. We have a voicemail.
All right.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
A, B, C, D, E,
D. That's it. I'm out here.
Let's find out what you got to say.
30 years together. This is getting really scary now.
Yeah. I'm surprised Donna's not throwing down her headphones. I'm out of here.
Yeah, she left. We have a voicemail for us, and let us play that.
Hey.
Huh?
What?
Where'd it go? Hey.
Hey.
Hey? All right. Whatever that was.
The business office of
There.
DJO Global, a leading provider of orthopedic bracing and bone stimulation products.
Oh, good.
Calling regarding services for Elizabeth Raymond. Please ask Elizabeth to call us at 1-888-225-4398 and select option 3.
Hey,
Our automated
Our
system is
listeners,
available
are
24
now
hours
putting
a
our
day,
voice number
and
on their
representatives are
applications.
available Monday through
Yes,
Friday
I listen to a
at 6:30
podcast, so
a.m.
I'm going to use their
7
voice
p.m.
number,
Central
so
Time.
that way
Again,
I'll
that
remember,
number
because
is
I never answer numbers.
225-4398.
Yeah, whatever. I never answer calls that I don't recognize, so why don't I steer it towards a podcast that I do listen to, and then when I listen to that podcast, I'll be sure to get the message.
Yeah, I'll let them filter it for me.
That's a great idea. Wish I had thought of that first. Oh, wait, I did.
I got an idea.
Elizabeth?
Raymond, please ask Elizabeth to call.
All right, it just kind of repeats, doesn't it?
Hey,
right.
We should do a podcast. Remember we talked about the Jolly Roger thing where they were taking phone calls for people and telemarketers?
Mm-hmm.
We should do that and just make a podcast out of it. Just forward your calls all to the voicemail line.
Right, and I think that would get old really fast.
It'd be fun like the first day, and then after about
much.
2 hours.
We'll have season 1, episode 1, and that'll be it.
Thank you. Good night.
One of the shortest podcasts ever. Okay, we also asked you last week on the show, who's your favorite geek/nerd idol or hero? Put that into Facebook recently. Mike Will says Adam Savage.
That's a good one.
Brian Lupke, who I worked with some 30 years ago, said Chuck Tomasi. Got a lot of laughs. Scott Tyler says Gary Gygax.
I'm going to add a laugh to it right now. There,
yeah. We got 4 laughs and a thumbs up. It's wonderful. Right. Scott Tyler says Gary Gygax. Joel McLaughlin says Neil Armstrong. Is that geeky enough? Absolutely. Even my brother-in-law Fred says me.
Oh, come on.
We had no idea this was going to happen. Craig makes up the questions. I just post them. Okay. Yeah. Nate Welch says MacGyver. Hey, we didn't say that to be a real person or fictitious person.
No, I guess not. No.
Gary Lindros says, besides you, Chuck, William Shatner. Craig, I think you should have posted the question. You might have got some people voting for you.
I should have, but I was incognito this weekend. So
Weber Baker says, tough one, so many. James Burke of the TV series Connections. Oh, loved Connections. And 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
That was a good one. Let's see. Melissa Bartell replied back
that she loved him.
Loved him. Have some of his books.
James Burke.
Don Wenzel says Kevin Smith. Ben Stein is the vote from Lone Guy's Night. Mark Letha, old high school buddy, says, why you, Chuck? Always impressed with your knowledge of computers you possess, even at a high school level.
Come on. That's an easy one. They replied to your post.
I still have a high school level possession of... No, I still possess my high school computers.
Yeah.
Charlotte Riddle Kennedy says John Barrowman. Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
My sister-in-law Fawn Guys voted for her husband Matt, which was nice of her. Melissa Bartell comes back with her own, says, can I be my own geek icon? Absolutely. If not, then Nutty Nuchas, if I were talking non-celebs. And otherwise, John Barrowman, because he does everything from a place of kindness. John Miller Jr. says, Bill Nye, his appearance on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver about global warming was epic. Be warned. NSFW rant by Bill Nye. Oh, I want to see Bill Nye do an NSFW piece. That's something you don't see every day. Myron Dubler puts in the brain from Pinky and the Brain. Just a picture.
That'll work.
That'll work. April Stewart says Steve Carell in The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Ben Stiller in Night at the Museum. Bob Alexander, who used to work with us a long time ago at ServiceNow, says, you are. Roy Atkinson says, Vint Surf. I don't know. I don't recognize that name. Do you?
What? Yeah. He invented the World Wide Web.
What?
Vint Cerf.
You sure about that?
Cerf is the Internet Hall of Fame. He is American Internet pioneer that recognized as one of the fathers of the Internet, sharing his title with TCP/IP co-inventor Bob Kahn.
Okay, that Vint Cerf.
he works with Google now on several things.
I thought you were talking about Tim Berners-Lee, but that's Mr. WWW, not Mr. Internet.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Nutty says, is it okay if your Geek Hero USA fictional comic book character, I think that should be is a fictional comic book, because real life people might let me down.
Well, at least you can write them however you want it. Okay.
Sean McLean says Chris Knight. Mike Stockman says you, then Wozniak. Wow. Okay.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
Dan Slaughter. I like his answer. James Donovan Halliday. From Ready Player One.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Nice. We will have another question at the end of the show.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. Who was yours?
Mine was, I thought I had one last week. Now I'm trying to remember what it was. Nerd, idol, or hero. It's probably a toss-up, but I'd have to say it's the people who got me into computers early on in the early 80s. Mm-hmm. Just sort of nurtured me and showed me the way. There's a couple of people that stand out, but it would probably be Mr. Richard Balding, who was my first high school computers teacher and allowed me to stay after school in the computer room when we only had 2 computers in the computer room.
Right.
And experiment and try and type in the programs from the book. So
is that back when you had to schedule time on the mainframe?
No, that was... Hey, don't make me shake my punch cards at you.
Right.
Man shakes fist at punch cards.
Yeah. I'd have to say mine is I got 2 of them because Douglas Adams, and I like the way he thinks. Just his thought process, especially going through some of the, you read the stories, you can kind of see where some of the absurdity leads to some logic. I like that. Also,
there were a lot of good answers in there. I mean, I agree with many of them, like Adam Savage.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I tell you what. Well, my other one, like real life, I think are heroes, is Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins. I think all 3 of them.
I'd say all the astronauts. Not to.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, to think going to the moon the first time and having, not like freaking out when you finally get there, or just keep a cool mind and go through the process, get on there, and then just doing what you got to do.
Speaking of which, did you see the special?
They take some chutzpah.
Speaking of astronauts, did you see the special? I think it's on Netflix called "Last Man on the Moon," the story of Eugene Cernan.
No.
Watch that. It was filmed about 5 years ago because it was after 2012, and I believe he passed away in 2016. So
yeah, I think it was. I do remember. I knew him, and I knew he died recently.
It's a great story, and he gives some insights to the astronaut's life, and he goes to his old house in Cocoa Beach and goes, hey, right over there is where Michael Collins lived, and over in that house, we were all in the same neighborhood, a bunch of houses together, and the wives would hang out because the guys were gone 7.5 days out of 7.
Right.
And he said something like, within a few years, what was it? Within 10 years, most of them were divorced because the marriages just couldn't hold up under that strain.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, really sad in a way because he was always out for his glory and his family always came second. And now that he's a real old man, he says, I think I've finally recognized that. He had 2 more years to live after the show was made. So I hope we got the most out of it, but a little late. So, the life of the astronauts wasn't all ticker tape parades and walking on the moon.
No, I guess not. Well, you go through that. You sacrifice a lot of personal time.
It almost reminded me of being a soldier. You're stationed away from your family. You get to see them maybe sporadically. There's strain on the family, PTSD in a way. Some of these astronauts, it was, go watch that. It's called The Last Man on the Moon if you haven't seen that already. Okay. Are we ready to move on? We spent a lot of time doing our feedback.
Let's do it.
And no singing about letters anymore.
Okay.
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, whatever you want.
I forgot to mention you're also my hero, Chuck.
Thanks, Craig. You're my hero too. You fix all my computer problems.
See, I'm the man behind the curtain.
On this day in history for August 14th, 2019, because that's when we plan to release this audio and video. This is the 226th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 139 days remaining in 2019. It was on this date in 1457 that publication of the Monsalter, the first book to feature a printed date of publication and a printed colophon. Go look it up, kids, if you don't know what a colophon is. It's not something you have to get examined by your doctor after you get to be 50.
No. It's something we used to play records on. On August 14th, 1885, Japan's first patent is issued to the inventor of the rust-proof paint, inventor not stated.
He invented rust-proof paint. Go look it up, kids.
Yeah.
Rust-Oleum salutes you, Mr. Anonymous Japanese inventor. It was on this date in 1888, an audio recording of the English composer Arthur Sullivan's The Lost Chord, I picture some guy jamming out on a guitar, is one of the first recordings of music ever made. It's played during a press conference introducing Thomas Edison's phonograph in London, England. They needed something a little more impressive. I know how this goes. The marketing team says, we need something a little more compelling than, Mary had a little lamb.
They needed something more reliable than the colophon. It was 126 years ago today that France becomes the first country to introduce motor vehicle registration. Thanks, France.
Imagine if the officer pulled up next to you for speeding and he did not ask you for your vehicle license and registration, or your license and vehicle registration. He would just say, can I see your license? Not to say that it's your vehicle. 118 years ago today, the first claimed power flight by Gustav Whitehead in his number 21. Makes you wonder what happened to numbers 0 through 20.
That's right. That same date in 1935, Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Social Security Act, creating government pension system for the retired.
Thank you, Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Appreciate it.
I hope it's still around when I get to be retired. It might do me some good.
The race is on. The race is on.
I've never planned on it, so I've always saved my own pennies. Also on August 14, 1959, founding and first official meeting of the American Football League. 1959, AFL.
And it was on this date in 1975 that the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the longest running release in film history, opens in London to extend its release.
I wonder if everybody went in costume to that one.
Oh, maybe.
And
I don't know.
Sang along and danced. No, that's not how it goes.
1975,
Let's do the time warp again. Happy birthday goes out on this date to Italian mathematician and physicist Giambattista Benedetti. Close. Benedetti. We'll close. He was born on this date in 1530.
And Danish physicist and chemist Hans Christian Ost was born 242 years ago today.
Is that a null symbol? It's got the O with the slash through it? Orsted.
How do you say that?
Orsted.
Orsted.
Margaret Lindsay Huggins. I need a man to hug and kiss. An Anglo-Irish astronomer and author was born on that same date in 1848.
An American dentist and gambler. What a combination. Doc Holliday was born on this date in 1851.
He's okay with me.
I'll be Huckleberry.
Guido Castelnuovo, Italian mathematician and academic, was born on the same date in 1865.
And born August 14th, 1866, Belgian mathematician and academic Charles Jean de la Vella Poussini. I don't know. Poussine.
Frank Oppenheimer, the American physicist. Yes, that Frank Oppenheimer. He was born 107 years ago today.
And born August 17th, 1914, African-American physicist, chemist, and academic Herman Branson.
Also turning 86 today is Swiss chemist and academic Nobel Prize laureate Richard R. Ernst.
And also born on that same day in 1975, American actor, comedian, musician, producer, and screenwriter Steve, that crazy guy Martin.
Suddenly I want to put one of those fake arrows on my head.
You should.
Also turning 69 today is American cartoonist Gary Larson.
Oh man, I love that guy. American producer, director, and screenwriter Brandon Braga is born on this date in 1965.
Where do I know that name? All right, we'll move on. Also born on the same date in 1966, American model, actress, and producer, Miss World United States 1986, Halle Berry.
Miss World? Was she really? I guess so. American chemist and astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson, born on this date in 1969.
All right, let's see if we can get through the listener birthdays. Happy birthday on August 17th, Clive Jevons from Bomenheim, German. Kevin, Susie the Geek's son. Wow, something got mashed together here. Our wiki may need some repairs. Brian Latecki on the 19th. Also on the 19th, Matt Ryder, who's the Eagle Scout geek. Good for you. Congratulations. And Jedi Kez, a.k.a. Brian from Winnipeg, is on the 20th. Happy birthday to all of you. If you want to be on the birthday calendar, go over to truckchat.com/wiki and we'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year, because that's the way it was on this date for August 14th, 2019. Do it.
I wasn't sure if you were going to go with the, or not, but.
We both made a hand gesture at the same time. It just wasn't the same hand.
I'll try harder next time.
We have some news. Let me see. Is this good news or bad news? Or impending news? Or startling news? We need the good startling news.
It wasn't good for Star Trek Discovery.
Here.
Good startling news, everyone!
All right. Hordes of Earth's toughest creatures may be now living on the moon. Well, this sounds like a headline worth grabbing your attention, does it not? There might be life on the moon after all. Thousands of virtually indestructible creatures that can withstand extreme radiation, sizzling heat, and the coldest temperatures of the universe, and decades without food. These terrifying sounding beings aren't aliens, but instead microscopic earthlings known as tardigrades. Yay! And then when they get real big, they show up on Discovery and zip around the universe. They're tardigrades who likely made it out alive following a crash landing on lunar surface by Israel's Beresheet probe in April. And the U.S.-based organization responsible for their trip, they said Tuesday. Based on an analysis of the spacecraft's trajectory and composition of the device and microanimals stored in, quote, we believe the chances of survival for the tardigrades, ... are extremely high. Someone had to think about it.
Yeah, there was like, wait for it.
Nova
trying to build up the excitement.
Co-founder and chairman of the Arch Mission Foundation, told AFP. The nonprofit is dedicated to spreading backups of human knowledge and Earth's biology throughout the solar system. A quest. So they did this on purpose.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they were on board by accident because, we don't want to cross-contaminate anything.
Well, when I read this, I kept thinking, okay, they did this on purpose, but yet NASA spends millions to sterilize, our spacecraft before they send it out. Like, okay.
Because they didn't want... I mean, that's why Cassini was burned up in Saturn's atmosphere rather than crash onto Titan, for example, because it may have had microbes on board and they didn't want to contaminate
it was mostly
anything.
space-based. I don't think they were expecting it to... Yeah, they didn't want to land it somewhere. They probably didn't go through the same sterilization, though.
Well, they did, but I'm guessing it's not always 100%. So this was on purpose. Tardigrades are ideal to include because they are microscopic, multicellular, and one of the most durable forms of life on the planet, said Spivak. He added that the diminutive creatures, which are under a millimeter in size, had been dehydrated to place them in suspended animation, then, quote, encased in an epoxy of artificial amber and should be revivable in the future. That sounds very cruel. So we now have tardigrades on the moon.
You know what's going to be terrible is when we send men back to the moon, or women, people, and they walk over a little crater, and then there's like these big tardigrades.
Or they take them back.
The ember.
They bring them back and rehydrate them, and they're really mad.
Yeah.
All
right. Like tardigrades when they're angry.
That's our one and only news story. So let's do the hacks and strange stories next. Would you care to tell us about this wonderful camera, Mr. Cameraman?
Yes, because I thought this was an interesting little story. So in a breakthrough that will appeal to both spies and those who work in priceless but frail historical documents, researchers at MIT have developed a camera that uses terahertz radiation to peer onto the text pages of books without having to open them. Now, I've got plenty of books there that haven't been cracked in my house. I'm excited about this myself, so I can open them without opening them.
Mm-hmm. Sure to be so quick to read them that way, too.
Yeah, maybe I should read a couple. Anyway, terahertz radiation falls somewhere between microwave and infrared spectrums, and the research team, including Barmik Heshmat, Razmi, okay, I'm gonna have trouble. Chose that particular flavor of radiation because of how it reacts with different chemicals. Different chemicals produce a distinct frequency that, as they react with different terahertz frequencies, which can be measured and distinguished. In this instance, and you can see a little animated GIF below. It shows researchers how well how to tell the difference between ink and blank paper.
Okay, how do they know what page it's on, though?
I guess maybe intensity. So a complete complex algorithms and software is required to translate the frequencies being bounced back to the camera, allowing it to distinguish letters on a page. But it also relies on how far the short bursts of terahertz radiation is traveling by precisely timing it, how long it actually comes back. So 20 micrometer thick air gaps between pages of a book, it's able to calculate when it moves from page to page.
Okay.
And there's a little video there kind of explaining it too. So I invite you to go check that out. So that's pretty interesting to be able to read a book without opening it.
That animated GIF we had on the screen, it's pretty hallucinogenic.
THZ. What does that mean?
More appropriately should say THC.
THC. I can imagine especially when they have books that have maybe gotten wet or something and they can't, I don't know, they can't just open it up and look at it. You could probably potentially scan it with this, I imagine. Get it into Evernote.
He used some OCR on that. It didn't look like it was the fastest process to scan. It's not like running through a copy machine.
No, but if you got a book that's maybe real frail, you don't want to, but you want to scan it at the same time, or at least see what was in it. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Very old stuff. If it can read the different inks back then. In our next story, we have a computer system that learned how to read human emotions. Marianne Redden
then Skynet was born.
Well, no, but they could figure out who the next shooter was going to be. Oh, wait, that sounds too much like The Boys. Yeah. Marianne Redden spent the last 10 years staring at human faces, searching for traces of two distinct but closely related emotions, surprise and fear. After so much time spent studying the intricacies of facial expressions, she can barely tell them apart anymore. That's why Redden a postdoctoral neuroscience fellow at Stanford University, knew her research was onto something when a machine learning powered system trained to detect emotions successfully distinguished between the two. Redan was impressed to find that the system, known as EmoNet, not to do anything with Emo Phillips, was just looking for facial expressions to make sense of human emotions. It was taking in context clues to determine the overall mood, just like a person would. Quote, if EmoNet can tell surprise and fear apart, it says to me that we're not just picking up the expression on a face, it's learning something important about the actions going on, Redden told the Daily Post. The business of creating the machine learning system, a neural network sourced from many previous existing data sets, took researchers from the University of Colorado Boulder and Duke University a year to develop. First, Redden and her fellow researchers repurposed AlexNet, a deep learning model that enabled computers to recognize objects, not a hot dog, and retrained it to recognize emotions instead of objects, not a hot dog face.
Not a hot dog.
AlexNet was trained to identify various objects by being fed photos of items like chairs and pens and assigning class labels to the images. Redan and other researchers wondered if similar classifications could be done with emotions. This is Darth Vader frightened, Darth Vader happy, Darth Vader.
Hey, you know what I need? I need an app that says, wife, mad or happy. And you just take a picture of your wife and go, you can go, yep, she's mad at me. Mad or not mad.
There you go. It's just a green or red light. Approach or do not approach. We need a simpler UI than that, Craig.
I'm confused. I'm going to go in anyway. Okay.
The phone said red. Do not approach. Or approach with flowers or candy or something.
Google Maps comes up with the closest flower shop.
or a bus ticket for you.
Mad or not mad?
All right. Hey, we want to give a shout out to the chat room, so let us turn to Facebook and see who is there. We have several people following us tonight. We do the show Sunday nights at 9:30 Eastern Time. If you want to follow us, go over to Technorama Podcast on Facebook. Subscribe. Craig Glasner, Michael King, Scott Tyler, you, me, Mary Charleboy, Donna's sister, is on here. Michelle Cook Lopez. Hey, Country Signs is back. Weber Baker. Doug Schultze from work. Straighten up, fly right. Kevin Wright. No relation to KO, right?
Hey, by the way, Doug said he liked my shirt.
Yes. Is that why you wore the did the tardigrade? Did you wear the shirt for the article or do the article for the shirt?
No, first off, Doug liked my shirt because of he heads up that he supports that product in ServiceNow at Disco. But it's just a disco kind of night.
Disco's dead, man.
I don't know. I think Doug would disagree.
All right, let's move on to. Does that mean remember when is next? Remember when is next. So
yes.
Whoops, that's Media Corner. Try that again. There we are.
Hey,
we got to remember when this actually happened. So many of you are aware that the Earth's magnetic field flips every once in a while. North becomes south, south becomes north, and we know this.
Cats and dogs live together.
Because of core samples in the Earth through the Atlantic, and as the Atlantic splits apart, it records the Earth's magnetic polarity at that time. So, do you want to read this, or shall I continue?
No, go ahead, continue.
All right. So, Earth's magnetic field reversal took 3 times longer than previously thought. A new study suggests that the last field reversal, 773,000 years ago, took 22,000 years to occur. I thought it was flipping every 22,000 years, but I'm probably getting it mixed up with precession, which could explain some of the inner workings of our planet's core. Earth's magnetic field is known to flip direction with somewhat unnerving regularity. Magnetic north switches to south and vice versa. This process that drives this change is poorly understood. Scientists know that the last reversal took place about 773,000 years ago. I didn't think it was quite that long ago, but okay, I'll take your word for it. You're smarter than me.
How do they know?
But because it's recorded in the rocks.
Oh, in the rocks, of course. Okay.
But exactly what happens in our planet's core to bring about the change is unknown. A new study, however, could help clarify the underlying cause because it suggests that the reversal takes much longer than we thought. The findings, well, it's nice to know that won't just happen overnight, but that is a long time. The findings have potential implications for humanity during the next flip. Set your calendars. In the paper published today, Science Advances, Brad Singer of the University of Wisconsin-Madison and his colleagues calculated that the Earth's last magnetic field reversal took roughly 22,000 years. Previous studies have estimated the phenomenon lasts anywhere from 4,000 to 9,000 years. The new number implies the switch's more tumultuous event than we thought. The reversal process is way more complicated, and it lasted longer in our estimation, Singer said. Our study points to a more protracted and complex process for driving and propelling a geomagnetic field reversal. You gotta wonder if this happens on any other planets. Kind of weird.
I would imagine so. Anything with a
molten core that generates a magnetic field, maybe, but we can't go sample the core or the surface of Jupiter or Saturn. But
not really. So
to make this calculation, the team used data from an array of sources that hold historical information about the Earth's previous magnetic switch, known as the Matuyama-Brunhes reversal. Well, there's a trivia question for you. Take that, Alex Trebek. One piece of evidence was lava flows, which act as a time capsule because their iron-rich minerals align with the direction of the magnetic field when the lava hardens. See? Researchers can examine isotopes of argon within the lava flows that date them and draw a clear picture of the activity of the magnetic field at a specific point in time. So I told you about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and how it's constantly creating new surface. As that lava comes out and forms and it hardens, you've got a recording of was north up or north down at the time. Yeah. So they've done these magnetic studies and taken these core samples across the ocean floor, and they see these sort of parallel lines going out from the mid-oceanic ridge, and they color-coded north being north as like white, and north being south as black, and you see these bands of white, black, white, black, white, black going out from the mid-oceanic ridge. It's very compelling information.
You know, I bet this was difficult to ascertain what they were even looking at. The first time they're looking at this stuff,
like
somebody goes,
why are
wait a
these
minute,
all whacked out?
Yeah, wait a minute. You know, and somebody just kind of figures it out. That's just, to me, that's amazing. It's up there with, you know, who ate the tomato first?
Oh, it's right up there with our theories on how the moon formed. You know, when you realize it's made up of the same stuff as the Earth, you go, well, how did that happen? What are the theories that could make that happen? So,
like I said, it's one of those things, like I said, about tomatoes. It's like they used to think tomatoes were poisonous.
Right.
Who was the first one that decided, I'm going in?
I need a sandwich.
Yeah, there you go. They pulled out their app and poisonous or not, I'm going in.
No, but I think one of the most fascinating things about science is discovering that, hey, the theory of yesterday doesn't work with the data we're finding today. And we've got more sophisticated...
Or even as simpler than that is to realize that there is a record of this. And like you said, it's in the molten iron that's come out.
It's not about having the answers. It's about asking the questions. That's what I love about it.
Yeah. So, I saw Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I know how that works.
I listened to Dr. Carl on Triple J. Let's do our patron music. There it is.
Yeah.
So thank you, patrons. This show is brought to you by you. If you want to become a patron, go over to patreon.com/Technorama Podcast. And for as little as $1 a show, you can upset the delicate balance we have on this 4x6 table and start driving Craig crazy again.
No. Yes, no. Yes, no.
Yes, no, yes. All right. Why did you just bold John Noble?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's...
Go ahead.
You put an asterisk on them.
Yeah, we'll get to it in a second.
There's no asterisk down below. That means I've got asterisk-exasperation.
We'll get it. Go.
Okay, we thank you all. Kyle Nishioka, Avner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Mike Wills, Mega Podtastic, Night Gig Studios. Thank you very much, Gary Lindros and John Clifford. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, John Noble.
Oh, that John Noble? That's
yes.
For.
Although, if you're watching Elementary...
That's what the asterisk was for, by the way.
That's all it's for?
Yeah.
Chris MC? That Chris MC? Yes, that Chris MC. Alexis Duran? That Alexis Duran? We could do this all night. Saturday Morning Media, Steve Therian, Jorgen Schrauen, John Miller Jr., Amber Elstad. Thank you, Harold McKinstry. Thank you, Amy Bowen. Thank you, Denise Inglis. Stephen Weshy.
Weshy.
There, thank you. Thank you, Dean Jensen. Thank you, Dandy Man. And thank you, NCAF1. We appreciate all of you because Donna dug up all the bills for the lessons we started doing the Patreon stuff. And now we can actually afford software upgrades we did a couple years ago.
We can finally get that new version of Notepad.
MS Paint.
That's
We did an article on somebody that was very talented with MS Paint. So not only do you get your name in a shout out on the show, but you also get special content that is recorded right after the show just for our Patreon people. So that's what you get. We have a thank you gift. That's our tote bag, if you will.
Yeah.
That didn't sound right at all.
Here's your free gift, sir. Thank you for coming. Oh,
it's your Walmart sticker.
Walmart sticker. Right.
All right. We have another great mystery from the Geek Library. Take it away. Oh, should we do the Geek Library thing?
Yeah, I was waiting for the music.
Where's the music? There it is. Almost lost it.
Here we go.
Thank you, Dave Dorman, theme number 1.mp3.wave.
Right.
It says mp3.wave. What is that?
Is that what it's called?
That's Dave Dorman, theme 1.mp3.wave.
Okay. Maybe we should fix that. Anyway, so, we talked about other uses of AI earlier in the show. And how about this one? Mysterious ancient radio signals keep pelting the Earth. Astronomers designed an AI to hunt them down.
So that was appropriate that we played this extraterrestrial kind of music.
Exactly.
We could do this one too.
Yeah.
Men in Black kind of thing.
All right. The sudden shrieks of radio waves from deep space slamming into our radio telescopes on Earth, spattering, excuse me, those instruments. Oh, I'm sorry, splattering. That was just a bug on the antenna. All right, they were spattering those instruments detectors with confusing data, and now astronomers are using artificial intelligence to pinpoint the sources of the shrieks in hopes of explaining what's sending them to Earth.
That animated GIF looks like paparazzi from the universe.
Yeah, they're taking pictures of. Yeah,
there they are. It's the Earthlings in their natural state.
All right. So usually these weird unexplained signals are detected only after the fact when astronomers notice an out-of-place spike in their data, sometimes years after the incident. But the signals have complex, mysterious structures, patterns, peaks, and valleys in radio waves that play out in just milliseconds. That's not the sort of signal astronomers expect to come from simple explosion or one of the standard events known as scatter spikes of electromagnetic energy across space.
It's not gamma ray bursts? It's not a gamma ray burst?
Those would be, you're talking about like from stars, like pulsars, and be able to, those kind of things would be predictable. You want to find the stuff that's not.
Okay.
So ever since the first one was discovered in 2007 using data recorded in 2001, there have been ongoing effort to pin down their source, but FRBs arrive at random times and places, and existing human technology and observation methods aren't well primed to spot these signals. So now in a paper published on July 4th in the Journal of Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, a team of astronomers wrote that they managed to detect 5 FRBs in real time, which I think is interesting, using a radio telescope. So Farah's system, I'm going to skip down a little bit, trained the Malagangolo telescope to spot the FRBs and switch over to its most detailed recording mode, producing the finest records of FRBs yet. Based on their data, the researchers predicted that between 59 and 157 theoretical detected FRBs splash across our skies every day. The scientists used them. They also used immediate detection, to hunt for related flares and data from X-ray, optical, and other radio telescopes. I guess interference, maybe, in hopes of finding some visible event to the link to the FRBs, but had no luck. The research showed, however, that one of the most peculiar and frustrating for researching purposes traits of FRBs appears to be real. The signals, once arriving, never repeat themselves. Each one appears to be a singular event in space that will never happen again. So that's why it's important to get something to identify. People, they're listening to these signals all day long, just like the lady was talking about, looking at all the emotions in the other article and not really being able to differentiate them because they saw so much. But you can use an AI that doesn't tire and is able to just sit there and not bore.
Oh, and those computers, they'll work all day.
I know. Until they revolt, and then we'll have a big mess on our hands.
Then they want a 5-day work week.
Yeah.
40-hour work week, 8 hours
and
a day.
They want to raise the minimum wage, and they want this, and they want that.
Insurance for the kids.
If I'm right, I'm gonna write a children's book. If you give a robot a pancake,
if you give a robot a stylus.
Yes.
We came up with a new holiday in Phoenix. One of the neighbors, the guy who was running. What was he running for? Congress? He came over and said, "Hey, Monday we're going to have roofers starting on our house at 6 a.m. So just letting you know, in case it's noisy, in case there's something in the way." I said, "Oh, okay, well, good time of year to start, mid-August, nice and hot."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I see mid-August as telling me there's 6 more weeks of summer." I said, "Doug, we have to make a new holiday in Phoenix. We hold up the rattlesnake, and if he sees his shadow, there's 6 more weeks of hot weather."
Break out your top hats.
Hey,
yeah, you hold the rattlesnake. You hold the rattlesnake.
The local Chase Bank came up with not snow globes; they came up with haboob globes.
Haboob.
It's just, instead of white snowflakes that fly around in the snow globe, it's brown sand, and it's got a little cactus in there and whatnot. It makes a little sandstorm. It's a haboob globe.
Haboob globe.
I love it. So why can't we have, a rattlesnake? There's Groundhog's Day. We need something else. Scorpion Day.
You need to go outside and do that tomorrow. And then
I'm not holding up a rattlesnake.
We'll report back. Chuck, how many people showed up? There were tens of us.
I'm not holding up a rattlesnake. I need something a little safer to hold up.
Just get a fake rubber one.
A fake rubber snake. Did the fake rubber snake? Yeah. Reach in the dark hole under the rock and pull the snake out.
Yeah, I got one.
I'm gonna pass out, but and it's so sunny out here in August. He's going to see his shadow. So yes, we have a new, probably not a rattlesnake day. What could we make that?
Well,
is there anything safe in this area to pick up? Not really. I think that's the reason why we don't have this holiday.
Can the scorpion see a shadow?
I'm not picking up a scorpion. Nor a wolf spider. Nor a coyote.
Hey, listener, if you have a suggestion
of something Chuck should pick up to see if it sees its shadow, a hyrax? Oh no! A little prairie dog. We have rabbits. We have jackrabbits.
Prairie Dog Day. There you go.
Prairie Dog Day instead of Groundhog Day. Desert Prairie Dog Day.
I'm not sticking my hand in that hole either.
It'll be in a cage.
Okay.
Should we get on with our question of the week and then get out of here?
Yes, let's move on.
Right.
Yes, let's move on.
Well, we dwelt on that bad topic for a while. And, king snakes are safe. Thank you, Michael King.
You know what?
You get it?
No snakes are safe. I don't care what you say.
I actually did pick up a king snake. He fell in the pool. I picked him up and threw him out. Just a little bitty one, though.
You know what? Maybe you should just go for like a bottle of tequila. Do you have to do an animal?
Scott Tyler says a javelina. I'm not picking up a javelina. Sorry. Okay, question of the week. What was that toy that you just couldn't live without as a kid? This is when we're going to find out how old some of our listeners are. Because if they say, you know, like a Game Boy or Lincoln Logs.
Tell you what, I saved up some money and actually won a contest and got like $20. I used that in a little bit of money I saved. And it's probably one of my favorite ships that I bought. I loved all my Star Wars toys, the action figures, but it was the Snowspeeder from Hoth, you know, the one they used on Hoth.
Mm-hmm.
That I bought the toy. I saw it, and I had the X-wing and the TIE fighter. I had to have that speeder.
You didn't have any snow.
No, I lived in Texas at the time. There was like hardly any ever snow.
Right. So you imagined snow.
That's right.
Or did you carve up a bar of soap and make fake soap snow?
Poor Han and Luke, they were in the Hoth outfits, you know, as I was playing with them, and they were outside in this heat of Texas, so...
I used up all of Dad's shaving cream to make the snow.
No, my dad... If you knew my dad, he's had a beard since he was born, so... He's probably used one can in his whole life.
I used up all Mom's Cool Whip.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our question of the week, and we are going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us again. A little shorter this time. I think we only had like 5 articles. But
thanks for joining me, Chuck. I appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging out for a while once again, Craig, and thank you, dear viewer and listener, for hanging out with us. Any closing comments? No, still Javelina time for Scott Tyler. And that brings us to the end of the show, where we want to encourage you, so if I can find the music, want to encourage you to call our listener line, unlike that lady who was selling us bone-stimulating things.
We are getting older.
707-530-2428. Have you called your mom lately? Have you called Technorama lately? Make sure you do one of those this week, and preferably us.
Yeah.
707-530-CHAT, or send us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com. Leave us a comment on the Technorama podcast page on Facebook, or any of the other links that you find on our page over at chuckchat.com/Technorama. And if you want to be a patron, don't forget patreon.com/Technorama podcast is where you can go for that. Make sure you put your birthday on the wiki too, chuckchat.com/wiki. We'd love to see you there. And hopefully we'll see Brian Brown next week. He wasn't feeling all that well tonight. So we wish him all the best. Craig, give us the usual sign out with the binary high five.
All right. 101, everybody. See you soon.
Bye. Well, that's an interesting picture to close with, Donna.
What was it?
The Earth-Moon rise, or the Earth rise over the moon.
Oh.
So thank you, everybody who joined us on Facebook. We are going to sign out and do our Patreon recording real quick, and we will talk to you again real soon. Take care. Bye.